Today's video is a guitar you guys requested because these are super value for what you get. So I thought, let's do a guitar that's made for a prince, or the prince, or prince. Okay, so what do we have today? We have a Firefly because you guys keep requesting more Fireflies on the channel. I know why. It's because this guitar is a perfect example of that. It's a $199 Telecaster with stainless steel frets, a bone nut, and really amazing aesthetic features. What's great about these deep dives is their webpage doesn't really show you a lot of information about the guitar, so I'm going to be sharing a lot of information that's not on their website. This is called the FFTL or the Mad Cat. Let's just call it the Mad Cat. It says it's transparent yellow. To me, it's butterscotch. If you're familiar with a very vintage butterscotch look, this is it. It's high gloss, it's polyurethane neck and body. The woods say it's a mahogany body. Looking at the side, it is 3 pieces of mahogany. 1, 2, 3. And then of course it's got a flame maple veneer on the front with a walnut stripe down the center, and then a flame maple veneer on the back with a walnut stripe. Can I also just say real quick how cool it is that the ferrules in the back are actually smooth and level with the body, and they look really, really good. We have a maple neck with maple fretboard. That is 2 pieces, so in other words, the maple fretboard is glued on. It's not one continual piece. And there's a walnut skunk stripe in the back, skunk stripe for the truss rod. Of course, we said bone nut and 21 stainless steel frets. Beautiful binding done on this. I mean, it looks amazing. We have 6 inline tuning keys. They are not locking. We have a little change up here, even though you're expecting a Telecaster bridge. You have a hardtail bridge, just a standard bridge that you'd see on any hardtail style guitar. But then it has this tortoiseshell pickguard with a single coil Strat pickup. And then you have a tortoise pickguard with a single coil Strat pickup. 3-way selector, volume, and tone control. We'll of course get into that.
So there's your specifications. So let's get into the geeky stuff.
One thing I know you're going to be curious about is how much does it weigh? 7.83 pounds. How did it come out of the box? Out of the box, it's crazy. The neck is dead straight. There's no relief in the neck. That could be good or bad. You want a neck that is straight, but sometimes if the fretwork is not perfect, you're going to have issues. We're going to check the action on this. Let's check it off the 12th fret. And looking at the 12th fret, we have the low E at 1.25 millimeters, the A at 1.25, the D 1.25, G is 1.5 or 1.50 millimeters, B is 1.25, and the high E is 1 millimeter. So super low action. So I'm not even going to use the fret rocker at first because here's the deal. Bone straight neck with super low action, we're probably going to find a dead spot. I'm hoping we're not. Let's try. Okay, here we go. We're not getting dead spots. I just want to show you this. We are getting sizzle. Just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and check all the frets, but I think this is going to end with us raising the action just a little bit. Here we go. Okay, no dead spots, but a little bit of rattling and buzz. To address that, what I want to do is give the neck just a little bit of relief. That's it. Because the neck, like I said, is super straight. And my guess is, here's my guess. They shipped this guitar with a little bit of relief. And then, while it was shipping, the neck adjusted, it moved. Okay, I'm gonna check the neck route now. And so you know, that adjustment made almost no difference at all. So it's just a little bit of relief helped. So to me, I think the only way to get the rest of the rattle out is just to make an adjustment to the bridge, raise a little bit. Let's see what doing the neck adjustment caused the action go to. Oh, it stayed the same, 1.25. Yeah, it stayed the same. So I'm okay where it is right now, but I think a lot of you might like it. If you don't like any buzz at all, we raise the saddles just a little bit.
If you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing and liking the video. It really does help the channel immensely. Also, I'm putting a link to all the tools that I'm using to diagnose the guitar down in the description below. We don't get anything if you buy the guitar, but we do get a small percentage if you buy any of the tools that we use to test the guitars.
We did this on the last one. Let's go ahead and check the nut. I showed you guys this last time. You can take a needle, heat it up with a lighter or some heat source, and test it. If you believe, like I believe, This is bone. I go ahead and I just use my soldering iron. And I go ahead and just take the soldering iron and a little burn, a little bit, but no melting. And that's because I have it at 842 degrees. That is Fahrenheit.
And this brings up a great question. So if you look at how I'm doing this with the soldering iron, you'll see slight little burns on the nut. That is not the nut. That is the overspray of the polyurethane paint. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. That's what's important when you're doing this. You just want to contact just the nut. Obviously, it's so hot, it will melt and burn anything that's plastic, but polyurethane, which is basically plastic as well.
Let's go ahead and give some measurements. Let's see what they radius this thing at. It's 20-inch radius, so super flat fretboard. So getting the width of the nut, 42.4 millimeters or 1.655. Getting the width of the 12th fret, we are coming in at 2.119 or 53.83 millimeters. Let's get some thicknesses going here. Thickness at the first fret is 22.24 millimeters or 0.875. Thickness at the 12th fret is 0.905 or 22.99 millimeters. This has got a 54 Telecaster vibe. We definitely want to check the fret ends as we do. Let's go ahead and check those. Okay, so to do that, we do the sock test. Let's go ahead and try the treble side first. First of all, there's that. And of course, the ball ends pretty much guaranteed a 5 out of 5. Let's try the bass side. And again, a 5 out of 5. Here's what's more interesting though. If you notice recently I did an expensive guitar and it failed at this. Look at this. These saddles are set perfectly so the grub screws are not sticking out. Look at that. I mean, that's a 5 out of 5 on that. So let's try the electronics. Let's see what they're doing for that. We're going to look inside them, but first let's just meter a few things. Looking at the bridge pickup, we are at 6.21K. At the neck pickup, we are at 5.76. Let's look at that inductance. The inductance on the bridge is 1.96, and the inductance on the neck is 1.86.
Some of you might want to know what it means when I'm giving you the resistance and inductance of the pickups. The main reason I'm giving you the resistance, the DCR, is that generally speaking, the higher that number, the more the highs will dissipate, they'll be less pronounced, and you can drive the amp a little harder. Now this is generally speaking, and there's a lot of factors why that wouldn't make sense, but that's why I give you a reference of every video. Now the inductance is also another number that tells us something. The higher that number, the more low end you'll see in the pickup, and it will have a smoother, rounder sound. Now again, this is generally and not always the case, which is why I want to do it in every video so you can reference it as you go through each video. So what did I learn from those numbers that I just showed you, considering I haven't played the guitar yet? Well, with a low DCR, I'm expecting the pickups to be very clear and have more of a top-end sound. Also, with a low inductance, again, I'm expecting the pickups to not have a warmer, rounder sound, but a brighter, clearer sound. So in other words, these pickups are going to be very bright and articulate. Now, this is the important part of this. These are just some factors that matter. What would matter also is to know what magnets are being used. Whether they're Alnico or ceramic, the higher the number, the brighter they are. So for instance, if these are Alnico 2s, they might be darker sounding than Alnico 5s or 6s or 8s. My guess is they're Alnico 5, so that's why I'm thinking these pickups are going to be very bright. Like I said, if they're a little warmer, we could kind of guess they might be Alnico 2. That's why I'm just giving you some basic stuff in every video so you can get an idea of what you're hearing when you hear it. In other words, did it make sense? Did the numbers line up with what the pickup sounded like? That's for you to decide.
Okay, well, you know what we got to do now. We got to look inside. Taking a look, we have the 3-way switch, which is a PC board based switch. These are fine. They're not my favorite, but they don't last. Then we have two 250K potentiometers with a capacitor right here for the tone control. And inside we have shielding. Wow, look at that. Let's test that. To test if it's shielded, we just want to take the two contact, connect them, and look at that. We're getting signal. Move it around. Still getting signal. Yeah, they've shielded this cavity. Very neatly, I must say. I mean, it looks really good. Let's go ahead and look inside the pick guard. And I'm going to remove the strings as well, because we're going to restring it. All right, a couple things. Again, they've also shielded the neck pickup, which is nice. They're using braided wires, and this is actual Alnico slugs. I mean, it's hard to be this critical of this guitar. At this point, it's pretty ridiculously good. Let's take the neck off. So looking here, you can absolutely see this is a mahogany body. You can see where they didn't do the stain. That's what I'm looking at is mahogany. Now, again, it's a 3-piece body. The neck looks super clean, really nice. There's the Made in China logo.
I'd also like to point out there's a few other models in the series. When I was picking one out, I was really considering the purple one that looked just like this. I think it looked great. And also, I have to tell you, I was a little drawn to the John 5, but it was over $200 and I wanted to keep it under $199. I also really like the Relic one that's $189. So there's also a blue Sparkle Burst for $169 at the time of doing this video. It's also worth pointing out that Firefly is not the only one making a Mad Cat clone in both the butterscotch and the purple. Eastwood makes one that's $1,399, but that one I think is made in Korea. You'd have to contact them to make sure.
Like I always say, none of that matters if it doesn't sound good. So let's go ahead and put it in the studio and play and see how it sounds.
So I'm going to run the guitar through a Yamaha THR-30, just to give you some sound samples. It's just an amp I really like. I'm going to go through the pickups and the guitar, start with Come Clean, and I'll give you some overdrive. Let's start with just a basic clean. A couple things to mention that are important is it does have a slightly rolled fingerboard edge. But let's go ahead and get into the guitar, starting with the neck pickup. Here we go. That is definitely a beautiful sounding clean, really kind of articulate for a neck pickup. Let's go to the middle position. Let's go to the bridge pickup. What I've done is I've set the amp over to an overdrive setting. Let's go ahead and try it, starting with the bridge pickup. Now let's go to the neck pickup. So final thoughts on this thing. This feels like a $500-600 Squier. Like when you get one of those Squiers and you're like, wow, it's really, really good. That feels like what I'm holding here. It feels very nice. Feature-wise, it's driven, so this is what I would call a forever guitar. In other words, you get this and you could change out the pickups to your liking, but not necessarily because they're bad. The fit and finish feels good. As you guys know, or maybe don't know, and we hold guitars for about a month. Let them dry out, let them kind of do what they're going to do, play them. I kind of put them through their paces.
because I want to see how they're going to hold up. This has held up very well. Any of the details and any of the finished work that didn't look perfect were definitely excusable at $199, but to be honest, I found very few to none of those. Till the next time, know your gear.